Sorry. The ravages of old age and glasses. It's such a pleasure for me to look out and see all of you here. I could have never anticipated a scene like this last September when I first heard about what happened with Dr. Azaruga. I did not seek this scandal. I did not seek to bring publicity or scandal to my law faculty. It came to me. My colleague, Ariel Katz, I don't know where Ariel is. He himself is Israeli originally. He's been here. We more or less started at the same time. And he was the one that informed me of this scandal. At that time, we didn't know it was a scandal because we didn't think it was really true. We couldn't imagine that such a thing could have happened. Unfortunately, facts played out the way they did, and here we are. So Samed and Emily have done a great job talking about what happened. So I just want to speak a little bit about the responsibility, or what I believe the responsibility of the Faculty of Law is in a situation like this, right? It's ironic, I think. First of all, it would be a scandal if this happened anywhere in the university. It's the idea that a donor, an alumnus, can intervene with a hire anywhere in the university based on his or her politics should be shameful and scandalous. That it happened at the Faculty of Law just makes it 10 times worse. Because the law school is a special place. Now, maybe I'm biased because I'm a law professor. I'm ready to admit that. But in our legal system, in our democracy, right, lawyers are given a special role to play in our system. And I'm going to read something from the rules of professional conduct. A lot of times people are surprised to know that we lawyers are governed by a code of ethics. Most people don't think of us as very ethical. But in fact, the legal profession is supposed to be governed by very high ideals of ethics. And so this is what the rules of professional conduct have to say about lawyers. A lawyer has special responsibilities by virtue of the privileges afforded the legal profession and the important role it plays in a free and democratic society and in the administration of justice, including a special responsibility to recognize the diversity of the Ontario community, to protect the dignity of individuals, and to respect human rights laws enforced in Ontario. Now, it just goes without saying that if the profession of law bears these special duties, then obviously the faculty that trains them has higher duties than ordinary faculties in the universities to adhere to the ideals of the university. So we should be the last place to tolerate any kind of untoward interference in our hiring decisions, and we should be the first and most demanding and most aggressive in defending our autonomy. Unfortunately, I think we failed in carrying out that responsibility. And I say this first and foremost as a law teacher with responsibilities I feel toward my students to not only teach them the law, but also to embody the ideals of what it means to be a lawyer. And so even though I was a corporate lawyer in practice, and I teach corporations law, and I teach the law of international finance transactions, that does not mean that I am indifferent to the idea of a lawyer as being bearing special responsibility for the common good and protecting democratic institutions. All lawyers, whatever they do, whatever clients they represent, have a responsibility to protect the public good. And so here, I want to speak a little bit to law students, particularly to the extent that there is concern among law students about speaking up. What will happen to me? Will I be blacklisted? Will I suffer career damage? I don't want to question the legitimacy of those fears. We all have fears, especially when we begin our careers. We don't know what our future will hold for us. And we've probably borrowed a lot of money to get this degree that we think is going to secure a relative degree of material comfort for us, and we don't want to risk that, understandably. But that's not what being a lawyer is all about, right? At the end of the day, being a lawyer is representing the public. So when you go out in the world and represent private clients, even if they're very high-paying private clients, you are not allowed to represent the interests of those clients in a way that is violative of the law. You always have a responsibility to preserve the integrity of the law, even if that means you have to sacrifice a lucrative private relationship. And if we as a law school fail in teaching that to our students, then we will have failed in a major way in our educational mission as a law school. And so all lawyers have a duty of zealous advocacy for their clients, but zealous advocacy within the confines of the law. And oftentimes that means standing up to your client and saying, no, you can't do that. And so here, as I sit as a law professor in a faculty where I believe we have done something wrong as a faculty, I feel that my duty as a lawyer is to say no to my faculty and say, we have to correct our error, right? We have to investigate what happened. We have a duty. We have a professional duty as lawyers, as teachers of future generations of lawyers, as protectors of democracy in Ontario and Canada. We have an obligation to discharge this duty, even if it makes us unpopular, right? And if you're not willing to be unpopular as a lawyer, you're going to be a very bad lawyer. So I want to say that to a certain extent, being a good lawyer means you're willing sometimes not to hang out with your colleagues because you've got to be in a position where you're willing to call them out when necessary, right? And that's the message that we have to give to our students, and we have to live that as law teachers. And I want to thank you for your courage and your commitment to supporting the law faculty in self-correction. Thank you very much.